Sometimes it's hard to believe that the answers to our problems are simple. Other times we can't fathom that the people that we know, including our family members, can help us to work things out. Well, today's first reading and gospel, I think, a great food for thought regarding how we think and how we respond to challenges in our lives. We've just heard that Naaman was seeking a cure for leprosy and went to his king, who sent him to the king of Israel. This is despite the young girl's advice, the correct advice, to seek healing from the prophet of Samaria. What caught my attention was the reaction of the king of Israel. Maybe it was a Monday, but he was suspicious and he was outraged. And instead of charitably redirecting Naaman to the prophet Elisha, he explodes. Made me think, how often do people come to us with their problems, things that are out of our control or ability, but how do we react in those situations? If you're like me, it most likely depends on the week or the day or even the hour. But God provides even when we fail each other. The prophet Elisha hears of the king's reaction and offers to help Naaman. But by now, Naaman has been through a lot. He's moved through the upper echelon of kings. He brought an official letter. He traveled a distance with silver and gold and all sorts of festal garments. And he faced the anger of a king to whom he was sent. Perhaps like us, Naaman believed that his problem could only be solved through complex treatments over a long period in an impressive setting with an impressive person. And so it's understandable that he was incredulous when he simply received a message from the prophet to go and wash 7 times in the Jordan River. I have to admit, I would have wanted to see and hear the prophet ask God for my healing while moving his hand over the diseased area, for nothing else had worked. But fortunately, Naaman had good people with him, perhaps like people in our lives, who reasoned with him to follow the simple advice, wash and be cleaned. In essence, that is what God is directing each one of us to do this Lent. And too often, we overcomplicate, we search far and wide for solutions. We underestimate the power of God's grace and the people that he puts in our lives, just like Naaman and the people to whom Jesus addressed in Nazareth. And we also discount the grace and gifts that God gives to us to help others too along the way. Now, don't get me wrong, when we have a medical problem, sometimes a complex one, we need to go to an expert physician. But often when it comes to matters of the soul, the answers are as close as our ability to pray, to go to Mass, and yes, to the healing sacrament of confession. And to help us find our way, God also gives us people we know, people right in our families who urge us toward God, just like the young girl and Naaman's servants. May we listen. May we trust in God's grace to heal us, just like Naaman, and come to believe more deeply. May God bless you and your families this holy day as we seek to trust God more fully and the people that he brings into our lives.